Hey guys, Joe here. In this video, again, most of these videos that I talk about is specifically because of what I'm going through, so hopefully it'll help you. So this is what I'm, mentally working through as I just dropped my son off from school, so I have like 15 minutes of time between now and when I get home to kind of work through some stuff. Oh my God, it's so bright. So anyway, today, I'm thinking about how to not only charge customers more money, but basically to have them want to pay more money, right? And I guess before I go any further, if you like these types of videos, please like, subscribe, and then if it helps you, consider sharing to other people that would need this help as well. So the one of the things that I always have to catch myself from doing is, basically how I started this video. Like, how can I charge more money? And it's really not that. It's like, how can I get my customers to want to pay me more money, right? And the way to do that is you have to give value. The more value you give, whether it's actual value or perceived value, the more money that they're going to give you in return. Because it's like the law of attraction and anything else. It's, or think about your whole daily life. In order to get something, you have to give first. So you got to switch your thinking around, how do I get to how do I give, right? And so I own a fence company. So there's different ways of that we've done so far to basically increase the value to the customer. So that could be things such as we have like a dedicated project manager. So basically everything just goes nice and smooth. We basically put systems in place and the people in place, so that way when people call, like, we actually answer the phone, whereas most other companies will not. We'll do other things such as, like, if there's an issue with the installation after the fact, even if it's years down the line, like, we just take care of it without, like, ghosting the customer and stuff like that. But then you got to look at other ways. So, depending on what you're in. So if you are in, I don't know, if you're in decking, right? Is there a certain thing that you can provide that you don't currently provide, right? So that's one way of doing it. The other thing is telling them what you actually do provide that they don't already know that you do. So if there's a certain way where, like for decks, like if there's a certain way that you're, setting the footings, so they're extra secure. If there is something that you do with the nailing process or the screwing process of the boards that creates a better look, or it ends up with a better, professional look, or it's going to last longer because you do a certain thing, whatever it may be. And like, again, like, you don't have to invent new things. You can actually go through and just label out like what happens. A good example of this, and I just noticed it the other night, is we are playing, I have a 10-year-old son, and after my daughter goes to bed, like, we play like some kind of game, or if it's going to be Uno or Trouble or whatever else. And so in this instance we have Trouble, but this is not regular Trouble, it's Minion Trouble, right? And the way that they increase their perceived value, if you look at the graphics, I wish I had it, but you can just look at it. If you pull up like Minion Trouble, what you'll see in, I believe it's the top right hand corner, is it says that you get 17 minion characters, right? So, again, you might have been on the verge of, like, do I pick this game or do I not pick this game? And because it mentioned the 17 characters, and they're really just the game pieces, like there's 4 players, each person gets 4 pieces, and then there's this extra Siren Bob character, so that's your 17, right? But it's just a way of increasing the perceived value, so that way you're either going to buy it versus not buy it, but also buy it for a higher price versus buying it for a lower price, if that makes sense. And then you can also see things like this on cereal boxes, literally anywhere, for these main companies where they're competing with other companies for, like, for the cereal or the food or whatever else. You'll see in there. Like, another good example is like the gingerbread houses, right? Because you know it's November at this point. I already bought our gingerbread house because we do that every year. And the way to increase the perceived value, so that way you buy their product versus another product, is a few different ways. So number one way is like the house is pre-built, right? You're still getting everything that you would have, but now you don't have to build the house, which is a pain in the ass because that friggin' thing always, like, no matter what you do, like the fucking roof and everything else ends up caving in half the time. So you're like stuck, you know, sitting there for 10-15 minutes making this shit sure the shit doesn't fall apart, right? So like I will 100% buy that one versus another one that's not pre-built, right? The other thing is you'll see like they talk about how much candy's in there. So it doesn't say like, okay, you get this. No, it's like you get over a pound of, you know, icing and candy for your thing. You're like, oh shit, like a whole pound worth of your, you know, in your mind it seems like a lot bigger than it is. Obviously most of the weight's in the icing, but you know, it is what it is. So anyway, I hope this helps. So again, like you want to get your head away from how do I get more money to how do I give more value. And once you switch your mind to that, it makes it a lot easier. Another good example, because like I'm trying to build up this brand, so that way you know, and the way I do that is increasing the value, which is like doing more and more videos. Hopefully stuff like this helps. And from there, it's like, okay, you know, the typical mindset is like, okay, how can I get people to buy stuff from me, right? And no, it's like, okay, how do I, you know, give more and more help? Like, you know, basically stage one is like these types of videos where they're just random thoughts and everything else. Well, stage two is I could create a course, and it's basically like, okay, in order, like whatever, to solve a problem, like how to increase your sales, how to get more leads, how to, you know the numbers in your business, right? And even though I've talked about this stuff on my channel numerous times, it's not in any kind of organized manner. So now you got to like hunt and, you know, pick for different, you know, videos, right? Well, if I put everything together, so that way it's like, okay, step one, watch this. Step two, do this. Step three, watch this. Then, you know, so forth and so on. Well, now I'm able to charge money for it, and you would be willing to pay money for it because it's in an organized manner and it's very systematized, and it has the goal of being able to fix your sales, fix your leads, or whatever it may be. But these videos, because they're not in any kind of organized manner, they're really not worth as much. Like, could I start I guess a Patreon page? Like, that's pretty common now, where you spend like $3-5 a month. Like, that's something I could do as well and get off the YouTube and get more onto like Patreon, or maybe do more in-depth videos, you know, something like that. You know, same thing, I'm talking about building value. Well, what if I talk about for the decks, like I really do in-depth, like, okay, this is how you increase that perceived value, so that way you can increase your sales. If I had a step-by-step process for that, well, then I could start charging for it, right? So hopefully this helps. It's just some things I walk through because like I'm always, you know, thinking about different things. So anyway, again, if you like this stuff, like, subscribe. Also, you can check out localprohelper.com. I'm just starting to get that site up and running. Basically now there's going to be 4 different areas of help for you. So it's basically helpful content and articles and like blog stuff like that, which is basically going to be pulling a lot of the videos that are on YouTube, bringing them over to there, and then basically expanding upon that with more writing, so I can kind of do more of a deep dive into that. The other thing is going to be coaching, so I'll be offering one-on-one coaching. I might do group coaching at some point, but like I'm not quite sure if I will do that, just because as business owners it's hard to like get everyone able to do you know, meet at the same time, just because of like the different time zones, and then the different, you know, how like everyone's just busy within work. There will be courses as well for different areas, but I want to really dive down and you know, have as much value as I possibly can. The one I already created, which is how to basically start a service-based business that runs without you. But most of the people on this channel are not looking for that, because you already, you know, started your business. And then there's something else. Oh, programs. So right now the Profit Planner program is listed in there, and then basically once the kitchen sink's ready, that will be uploaded, but that's a little bit of a slower process, and I'm getting agitated with that. But I also have to realize that this program is going to overtake everything out there, and it's just me and one other guy, so I can't really I have to be patient. So anyway, and I don't like to be patient. So anyway, hope you guys have an awesome day. Hopefully this helped you, and have an awesome day. See ya.